The 20th year of Emperor Xuanwu's Yongchu reign. Within the palace, Lady Yan's bedchamber. Hurry up, stop dawdling. 3 or 5 maidservants, each holding a bronze basin, rushed into the bedchamber at the urging of the eunuch. Their expressions were grave and solemn. Ah, it hurts, ah. The woman lying on the elaborately carved wooden bed had her legs spread wide, her face contorted in extreme pain, sweat covering her delicate features. Outside the door, a man paced back and forth restlessly. What are the imperial physicians doing? They've been in there for ages. Why hasn't the baby been born yet? Useless, all of them. Your Majesty, please don't worry. I've heard that giving birth to a prince can be quite an ordeal. I believe her ladyship is surely giving birth to a prince. The eunuch bent over, flattering him with a sycophantic smile. Emperor Xuanwu shoved him aside. If it's not, I'll have your head. The eunuch's face turned deathly pale.
Wah 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 wah.
The loud, distinctive cry of a newborn echoed from the room. Emperor Xuanwu's face lit up with joy as he rushed into the bedchamber. The moment he stepped inside, he saw 3 or 4 imperial physicians gathered together. Physicians, let me see my child. Is it a boy or a girl? The physicians exchanged uneasy glances, their expressions hesitant. What are you waiting for? Quickly, bring the child here for me to see. Yes. One of the physicians, trembling with fear, approached the emperor with the baby in his arms, offering it to him. Emperor Xuanwu stared at the baby in his arms, frowning. It really looks like a little monkey. He impatiently lifted the cloth covering the baby. His eyes widened in shock, filled with disbelief at what he saw. The baby had both male and female genitalia. In a fit of rage, he stormed toward the bed, ignoring Lady Yin, who was lying weak and exhausted after childbirth. He struck her across the face. Look at the monster you've given birth to. Lady Yin, clutching her swollen cheek in confusion, was forced to look at the strange creature she had born. Her eyes widened in horror, and she began to shake her head, retreating until her weak body hit the wall. She collapsed, screaming in despair. No. 15 years later, the 35th year of Emperor Xuanwu's Yongchu reign. Emperor Xuanwu, whose name was Badiwa Yuan, was a tall and sturdy man, known for his extraordinary talent and strategies from a young age. However, being born in chaotic times, his abilities had no outlet. So, he sought to unify the land. At the age of 17, he sold his family assets to gather young men from his village, forming a rebel army. At the time, the oppressive government had left many people struggling to survive, barely able to eat. People from neighboring towns joined the rebel army, causing its numbers to swell. Driven by dissatisfaction with the government, everyone knew this was a battle they couldn't afford to lose. They were ready to die for the cause, marching from the south towards the capital, leaving a trail of bloodshed. Each town and city fell in less than half a day. Months into the rebellion, the rebel army had grown to tens of thousands, and taking the capital was almost effortless. Badiwa Yuan had the former emperor's head hung at the city gates. The rebellion succeeded, and the rebel army claimed victory. Badiwa Yuan declared himself emperor, taking the title Emperor Xuanwu, and established the Yongchu era. However, the most talked about topic in the Badiwa dynasty wasn't Badiwa Yuan's achievements or the growing strength of the empire, but rather his inability to produce an heir. Everyone knew that the Badiwa dynasty originally had 4 princes. But why originally? It seemed as though the Badiwa dynasty was cursed. The 4 princes either died, were severely injured, or were chronically ill. In the end, none survived to inherit the throne that Badiwa Yuan intended to pass down. The youngest prince died after falling from a horse, his head hitting the ground, followed by a fatal kick from the horse. The third prince died of a plague he contracted while traveling to a neighboring country on official business. The second prince, known for his ruthless and violent nature, made many enemies in the martial world and was poisoned a year ago, remaining in a coma ever since. It's said he's already dead. Finally, there was the eldest prince, who had been frail since childhood. He would fall ill every few days, with a major illness every few months. A fortune teller once said he wouldn't live past his 18th birthday, and that day was only 2 months away. The entire nation watched with bated breath, waiting to see what would happen to Badawa Wushuang, the last hope of the Badawa dynasty. In a secluded manner, hidden deep within the forest, where few ever ventured, a series of urgent calls broke the peaceful silence. Young master, please don't hide from Chinger. Young master, please come out. Chinger was on the verge of tears, as the young master was always elusive. She helplessly looked at the bowl of medicine in her hands, worried that it would soon go cold. Young master, a figure dressed in white gracefully descended from the roof, landing in front of Chinger. I was just resting up there. Why are you so worried? It's not like I'm going to run away. Up there? Where? On the roof, there's a great view. I was planning to stay up there for a while. You can enjoy the view, but please drink this medicine first. You've just recovered from a serious illness, and the cold could come back at any time. She firmly pressed the bowl into his hands. All right, just stop nagging. Unable to bear it any longer, he downed the bitter medicine in one gulp, wiping his mouth with his sleeve. What's the big deal? He carelessly tossed the bowl aside, the sound of breaking pottery echoing in the air. Young master, it's just a broken bowl. It's not worth much, he replied coldly. I'm going out for a walk. Don't follow me. He turned to leave, but Chinger grabbed his sleeve. You're getting bolder, Chinger. Cold sweat broke out on Chinger's forehead. The young master without a smile was terrifying, but not as terrifying as the emperor. She swallowed hard. Young master, you can't go out dressed like this. If the emperor finds out, you'll be punished. I'm tired of wearing these clothes. Young master, please don't make things difficult for this servant. I'll take responsibility. Let go of me, or I'll really get angry. His impatience showed on his face. Summoning all her courage, she said, Young master, Chinger won't let go. I'm not afraid of you getting angry. I'm only afraid that if the emperor finds out, you'll be punished again. For your own good, I won't let you go out dressed as a man unless you change your clothes. He was caught between anger and helplessness, glaring at her for a long moment before finally sighing in defeat. Fine, I'll do as you say. Now, let go. Chinger smiled. Thank you, young master. Without another word, he returned to his room. Changing into the clothes he loathed the most, he stared at his reflection in the bronze mirror, wishing he could shatter it. 15 years. He had lived like this for 15 years. How much longer would he have to wear women's clothing? If someone told him he was the emperor's son, no one would believe it. They would likely question why a prince was living in such a remote, dilapidated place far from the capital. Why was he living in a rundown manor? And why had no one ever heard of the emperor having a fifth prince? Why? Because from the moment he was born, his existence was a festering wound in the emperor's heart. Because his abnormal physical condition made the emperor avoid him like the plague. Because he had both male and female genitalia. He was both male and female. The imperial physician said that only after he finished developing would his true gender be revealed. So, for 15 years, he had been raised as a girl. Even his name was chosen to be feminine, Badawa Wushuang. Wushuang, which means unparalleled or unique. What was the emperor trying to imply with this name? He had always seen himself as a boy and knew that he was male, not female. At 15, he showed no signs of being a girl. His chest was flat, and he had never experienced the so-called monthly cycles. Since last year, he had developed a strong aversion to wearing women's clothing. He and Chinger reached a compromise. He could wear men's clothing inside the manor, but had to change into women's clothing when going out. As long as he didn't have to wear the uncomfortable dresses all the time, he agreed to anything. Surrounded by green mountains and clear waters. Surrounded by green mountains and cool waters, Badawa Wushuang shed his cumbersome attire and dove into the water like a dragon, enjoying the freedom of the water. After a while, he emerged, shaking his wet hair and wiping the droplets from his delicate face. His appearance was completely inherited from his mother, who was said to have been extraordinarily beautiful. This was the reason why no one had ever suspected that Batuo Wushuang, even in women's clothing, was actually male. He had a delicate face, with crescent-shaped eyebrows, long, dark lashes, and bright, expressive eyes. His nose was small and straight, and his lips were naturally red. From every angle, he looked like a girl. It was only his flat chest that revealed the truth. He scooped up a handful of water and splashed it on his face. He wished he could stay here forever, away from the troubles of the world. Knowing that this place was rarely visited, he felt at ease. After all, he had discovered this beautiful spot deep in the mountains by chance, and the nearby villagers avoided the area due to ridiculous rumors of mountain monsters. They claimed that anyone who ventured in would never return, so even traders took a detour. Batuo Wushuang relaxed his muscles, lying back in the water, letting it carry him. What a beauty! Jiang Feng, hiding in the bushes, couldn't believe his eyes. His mouth went dry as he stared at the scene before him. Gulp! The sound of his swallowing echoed loudly in the stillness of the surroundings. He wasn't sure if the beauty had heard it, but he was on the verge of a nosebleed. In all his 14 years, he had never seen such a stunning person. Just look at that fair skin, so delicate it seemed it might break with a touch. And her serene, closed eyes, so enchanting. He had lived all these years without realizing that there could be someone so beautiful that no words could describe it. Oh heavens! He clamped his nose shut, fearing that in his excitement, he might actually bleed out and die right there. Who was he? And why was he spying here? Good questions, and he would answer them one by one. Jiang Feng was his name. As for why he was here, he vehemently denied being lost. He had simply wandered around and accidentally walked too far. Too lazy to retrace his steps, he kept walking deeper into the woods and eventually found this natural pool. He was definitely not lost. A week ago, he had followed his general father to the border to take up a post. Bored out of his mind, he had slipped away while his father was training the soldiers, and after wandering for a while, he had ended up here. Oh no, the beauty is drifting away. Jiang Feng crept closer to get a better view, but accidentally stepped on a dry branch. Snap! Jiang Feng froze. I'm doomed. Someone was there. Batuo Wushuang's eyes narrowed, and with a powerful strike, he sent a wave of water hurtling towards Jiang Feng. Ah, dangerous. Jiang Feng dove to the side, barely dodging the attack. The beauty was anything but weak. She was fierce. Batuo Wushuang used his palm to summon his clothes from a distance. Close your filthy eyes, or I'll gouge them out. His voice was icy. Okay. Jiang Feng quickly covered his eyes with his hands, not daring to breathe too loudly. Once he was sure Jiang Feng had closed his eyes, Batuo Wushuang swiftly emerged from the water and returned to the opposite shore. In just a few seconds, he addressed himself. Then he disappeared, only to reappear next to Jiang Feng moments later, coldly staring at the man who was tightly covering his eyes. This man had a lot of nerve to spy on him. Who knew how long he had been watching? Had he seen anything abnormal? Batuo Wushuang wondered if he should kill him with one strike.
Go!
Jiang Feng quickly stopped himself, realizing that the beauty might not like that term. Can I open my eyes now? Who are you? Huh, does that mean I can open my eyes? Jiang Feng lowered his hands and saw the beauty standing beside him. He grinned and said, My name is Jiang Feng. What's your name, beautiful? Batuo Wushuang shot him a cold glance. A sly grin. Jiang Feng was taken aback, his face showing surprise. Huh? You don't like people who smile slyly? No problem. I can be serious too. Do you want to see it? Batuo Wushuang found him incredibly boring and figured that Jiang Feng probably hadn't seen anything. So, he ignored him and started to walk away. Seeing that the beauty was leaving, Jiang Feng panicked. He hadn't even gotten to know this stunning person, and now he was about to miss the opportunity. His heart stirred, and he quickly followed Batuo Wushuang. Beautiful, wait for me. Beautiful, what? Do you want to kill me? Jiang Feng's eyes widened in shock. He hadn't realized that in the blink of an eye, the beauty who had been walking in front of him had somehow appeared behind him, with a sharp dagger pressed against his neck. The beauty was skilled, but he didn't want to die. What did you call me? Cold sweat dripped down Jiang Feng's back as he nervously chuckled. In nothing, you misheard? Is that so? Then what I just heard must have been a dog barking. Jiang Feng nodded furiously. Why yes, a dog barking, a dog barking. Badawa Wushuang sheathed the dagger and roughly shoved him aside. I'll spare you this time, but if you let that foul mouth of yours slip again, I'll make sure you regret it. He walked past Jiang Feng, but after a while, he realized the man was still following him. Badawa Wushuang used his lightness skill to try and lose him, but the man clung to him like glue. Why are you following me? Because I'm going the same way, Jiang Feng replied, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Badawa Wushuang glared at him for a while, feeling a surge of anger. He flicked his sleeve and turned away, his agile body swiftly weaving through the trees, leaping from branch to branch. Surely, this would shake him off. But before long, Badawa Wushuang's confidence was shattered. He stopped in frustration, standing on a branch several feet above the ground. He turned and shouted at the man who was also perched on a branch just a short distance away. Don't tell me you're going the same way too? Jiang Feng knew he couldn't keep lying, so he scratched his head and awkwardly admitted, Actually, I forgot the way back. I thought if I followed you, I might find a way out of this forest. Hearing this, Badawa Wushuang's anger subsided a bit, and his voice softened. Where is your home? My home is far away. A few days ago, I followed my father to the border, but I wandered off and got lost. The border? You're a citizen of Yinyi Kingdom? Isn't this Yinyi Kingdom? This is Xuanwu Kingdom. The direction you're heading in is the opposite of where you need to go. Even if you follow me, you won't get back to your country. Jiang Feng's face fell. How did this happen? So, following me is pointless. Without a trace of sympathy, Badawa Wushuang descended to the ground, continuing to walk away without using his lightness skill, as if he had no cares in the world. Hey, wait. He stopped. What now? If you leave me here, I won't be able to find my way back. In a few days, I might starve to death in this forest. Or worse, I could be eaten by wild animals. I'm so handsome and dashing. It would be such a waste to die here. My mother would cry her eyes out, and the maids in our household would weep in sorrow. So many people would be heartbroken over my tragic fate. Don't you think my situation is truly pitiful? He put on a sorrowful expression, looking as pitiful as possible. What are you trying to say? Badawa Wushuang asked, not seeing any sense in Jiang Feng's rambling. Jiang Feng flashed a fawning smile. Why don't you take me back to your place? I can send a carrier pigeon to my father, asking him to send someone to fetch me. Absolutely not. Kind lady, beautiful lady, please have mercy and help me this one time. Saving a life is a noble deed, and good deeds will be rewarded. Badawa Wushuang couldn't stand people who talked too much or were shameless, and Jiang Feng was both. The thought of taking him back, where he might lose even the little freedom he had to wear men's clothing, made him really want to leave Jiang Feng behind. But, seeing Jiang Feng's pitiful face, as if his life depended on him, Badawa Wushuang sighed. Fine, you can come with me. But after walking for a while and chatting a bit, Badawa Wushuang finally lost his patience and shouted, What did you just say? Startled by his anger, Jiang Feng lowered his head, looking utterly innocent. I don't know where my father is stationed. Didn't you say it was at the border? Then just send the pigeon to the border. The border is a general term. The soldiers are probably stationed in a small town. Get lost. Badawa Wushuang didn't want to see this person's face anymore. Miss. Jiang Feng's face looked as though the sky was falling. He let out a cry and threw himself at Badawa Wushuang's legs, holding on tight. Kind lady, please don't leave me alone. Without you, I'll starve to death in this desolate place within a day. I don't want to die. I still want to marry several wives. I haven't even had my wedding night yet, and I haven't seen my future children born. I can't die now. What kind of nonsense is this? Let go of me. Badawa Wushuang tried to kick him off, But Zhang Feng wouldn't let go. I won't. I won't let go. If I let go, you'll leave me behind. I don't care. I'll go back with you. I'm willing to chop wood, fetch water, or clean as long as you don't leave me. Zhang Feng clung on even tighter. How can there be someone as shameless as you?